You know, they say with every business, you need a plan. And I think we're going to take it back to the very first project of Kayatick, the Venice Beach graffiti art walls. Um, what can I say about this project? You know, it was a dope project for me. It's something I'll always remember. Every time I wear that Venice t-shirt, it takes me right back to the beach. It takes me right back to watching that wall get thrown up. The colors shining off that wall. You could see that chaotic anywhere on the whole beach. It was incredible. But the logistics of getting everything done was not as easy as it is. And you know, when you're creating a business, sometimes the idea sounds amazing, but sometimes the execution can be difficult to execute. And that was kind of what happened with this one right here, this chaotic Venice Beach art walls. Because I wanted to detail our clothing line from the very beginning. I wanted to detail the business from the very beginning. I wanted to, capture camera, every idea, every design, right there, from day one. But with the Venice Beach wall, I didn't necessarily have cameras or computers or really anything to make this project happen. And by chance, I had found Braggs on Craigslist, and I was asking if he could do, I believe it was a hand-drawn design. I thought he did artwork, and I think I was trying to get him to do a hand-drawn design for a t-shirt, and found out that he did graffiti art. And so I wanted to put this graffiti art together, and he's like, yeah, let's go ahead, let's get it in. And I think it was November, December, about the time we were doing the wall. So I was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and set it, a couple months from now. Let's do it for 2 months from now. Like I said, no cameras, no computer, no nothing, no spray paint, no anything. I know that I've liked graffiti art my whole life, but I haven't, I guess, indulged into any of the graffiti artwork until this point. So I didn't know if we were going to get the graffiti back in time. I didn't know if we were going to, get the wall reserved in time. I didn't have any ideas on what I wanted on the wall. So the Venice Beach is always it's a special project to me, because it was the first project, but it was the first time that I realized in business, sometimes your idea doesn't happen exactly the way you want it to. And it was the first time I realized that I'm actually in business and not just doing an idea like for t-shirts, or just, have some idea in my head, that I was actually trying to logistically rent cameras, logistically get the paint here on time. I think that was one of the biggest things, that I didn't know if the paint was going to come in on time. And coordinate with Braggs on how much to pay him, give him the paint afterwards, whatever it was going to take to get the wall done. And then we had to go down to Venice Beach and reserve the wall. And the way Venice works is you have to get there first. And I think we went out there a couple weeks before, saw the big wall. No, we wanted that one. It's done by donation. You can go on there, paint, but we did donation on this one. And my buddy Braggs just, he killed it. He came down from Phoenix. He came down, and it was an all day thing. We got there at 7-8 o'clock. He was there about 8 o'clock, 8:30, and he just, we painted the wall, got it all set up, and then he just went ahead and did his thing. So this was the first project, and like I said, this one, it was difficult, because like I said, once you get the artwork done, you have to literally take this wall that's been painted with graffiti art and put it on a t-shirt. And I don't think, like I said, in business, sometimes you don't really recognize, the idea I mean, that T-shirt had about like 9 colors on it. And when you're doing, graphic design and artwork and stuff like that, the more colors you have, the more expensive the T-shirt. And I don't think you noticed that. So there's kind of a learning curve. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, this T-shirt is amazing. I can't give any away because it cost me an arm and a leg. But it came out amazing. And like I said, the experience is forever captured on video. And now looking back, I'm kind of going back and doing the detail of every project that we've done. We're growing this YouTube channel, and I wanted to give some detail on what it took to actually get us right here. So this is the graffiti art wall. This is Venice Beach. And like I said, this is just a dope project to me. Like I said, I still have this T-shirt. I still have my hoodie. Every time I put it on, it takes me right back to the beach, right back to that day. And it's like day one of Kayatick really stepping his stamp on becoming, a legitimate business, a viable voice for underground music, for underground hip hop, and, really stamping our foot on the elements of hip hop, which we want to be known for. We don't want to be known for just rap. I want to be known for graffiti art. I want to be known for b-boying. I want to be known for DJing. I want to be known for the MC. I want to be known for the elements of hip hop. And this was our first step, of us getting to that point, So check this out. I appreciate everybody that takes the time to watch, our graffiti video. And I appreciate everybody that bought the T-shirts. I appreciate the models that came out and helped model the T-shirts. Like I said, this is just a growing experience. Kayatick is not anywhere where I want it to be right now. I'm still building, still working. Not anywhere we want it to be. We're not even close. But I thought this would be kind of an interesting detail of how it happened or how we got here. So I think what we'll actually do is we'll start with the very first project. So I started with the Kayatick Venice wall, but the actual first project of this business was the Kayatick mixtape. And I guess in business, for me anyway, if you don't have any capital or you don't have any ways of getting any money, or you don't have any ways of really like promoting the business, but you still want to put a project out. For the music, for me, the mixtape was probably the best option for us at that time because we didn't quite have the business model or the plan, but I think putting together the mixtape was kind of like the business plan for what was to happen for the rest of the business across all projects. And the interesting thing is we had music, me and my cousin, Jason, we had music that we were putting out, and we knew artists that had music that they were putting out. And everybody's kind of doing their single or they're doing their album. Everybody's kind of zeroed in on self. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but they're zeroed in on getting their project out to the people. And with the mixtape, we wanted to put an album out, but we didn't have necessarily the product to do that yet. So what I did was I reached out to my guy Spawn, who we've done music with and who's kind of on every album that we've ever put out. We always make sure we get him a feature. But I hit my boy Spawn up and I was like, I want to put together a mixtape. And Spawn knows quite a few MCs here and quite a few MCs there. I reached out to my other guy, Iron Man, who was kind of a young exec at the time, about any artist that he knew. Reached out to my cousin, to any artist that he knew. I reached out to all the artists that I knew, and what we ended up doing was putting together, I think it's like an 18-song mixtape of just different artists all around. And I gave it to Spawn. I was like, okay, here's 18 songs. Listen to them, organize them, see what you think or whatever. And Spawn, of course, what he does, he does organize and puts, gets a good vibe, I guess, for music, you can say. And so he put the mixtape together, and we we put out the mixtape, and it was great. Like, to me, everybody that heard the mixtape, it had such good flavor to it. It had your lyrical rap, it had your spiritual rap, had your your gangster rap, it had your conscious rap. It was just like a well-rounded collaboration of everybody putting together their project, or putting a project together, and then listen to Spawn kind of line the backup and how songs should go and getting a good feel to it. So it was like, okay, we have a YouTube channel, we don't have any content, like I told before in the first video, no videos or anything. So reaching out to the artists and being able to put out a project for free was kind of monumental to the actual business planning or the business model in itself. Because if you look at our content on the very first project, we reached out to so many different artists to make it happen. And then if you look at our content now, we reach out to so many different artists to make it happen. Like, whether it's a mixtape, let us use your song, and we want to see if we can collab together, or the Digging in the Crate show, where we're let us use your videos and we're going to put a music show together. It's always been the same model and the same staple, even though at the time we didn't have any funding or any capital or anything to start it, but it's kind of set exactly how the business needs to be set for the future. And so the mixtape was monumental to me as far as a first project, because it showed how to create a project even if you have no money at all. And the people behind, like, just watching my guy Spawn put together the song and the cadence and the feel of it, and having that full playthrough vibe of listening to a mixtape of, not like I want to say like the 50 Cent era, where it was like new songs, but it was kind of like the DJ Clue type of collaboration style. So to listen to it and have that playability of being like a all the way through track was kind of incredible. And then the funny thing is, we had Iron Man uploaded to YouTube, and it was, I think it was like an hour and a half, 2 hours, but the computer I guess Iron Man was using was mad slow. And so I was getting hit Iron Man, like, yo, did you get it on YouTube yet? Because I don't have a computer. And he had, some sort of a computer, sort of means of a computer. And it was mad slow. So I think we finished the mixtape and we uploaded it. Like, we tried on Friday, and I think Monday Iron Man didn't come to work. And like Tuesday, Iron Man didn't come to work. And he said he was just sitting by the computer because anytime he fell asleep, it would start over again. So he would just shake the mouse for like 2 days to upload the mixtape. But once it got uploaded, I like it. It hasn't quite moved the way I think it would move, but I think it's because I was learning. I'm still learning, but I was learning how, to kind of put this project together. I'm just learning about YouTube. I think it's like our first video. I've never really messed with YouTube until like, maybe 2011. So it's like the very first, time I'm uploading anything. And so it was just an interesting experience because, like I said, Iron Man literally took 2 days of work off just to make sure it was uploaded. And we all worked with everybody we could to get as much or the best presented music content, because we want to be known for music as well as the graffiti, as well as all the different elements of hip hop. And it was like, well, we got to put some music out because that's what everybody vibes to. And just to see it come together, I go back and I'll throw it on and I'll listen to all the different styles and the mashup on it. It's like the very first upload on the YouTube page, and this is kind of our monumental step, especially, and we're trying to build and grow the YouTube channel. The mixtape was super important because, like I said, not only was it the first project, but it actually molded and shaped every single project. From the t-shirts, we went to different artists, to the graffiti walls. We stay with Brags for the graffiti walls, but we're looking at different artists for graffiti walls, and DJs, just working with different DJs and different sounds. Like it really built the staple of we want to be an underground representative or independent representative. I know people don't like underground, but I myself never want to be anything else but an underground entity, with influence. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about the Pomona Jersey project, and this one was actually probably my favorite project even to date. I did love the different projects that we've done, but this one was actually sort of unique because I've always liked the pullover jersey, like warm up jersey for baseball. And I thought it would be cool to make a project or a t-shirt where if you had a buyer for the t-shirt that they would get their number and name on the back, kind of like the Kayatick team. So let's say if you pre-ordered it and you wanted, Jackson on the back or Johnson or whatever your last name was or whatever your nickname was, I thought it was cool to do pre-orders and have the name and number exactly of what you wanted on the jersey, so it could be kind of a custom jersey to whoever bought it. And this one is kind of like the same as the Venice Beach project. We actually met up with my guy Lex Duran in a Pomona tattoo shop, and it was kind of interesting because the tattoo shop is not like publicized. Like you wouldn't know there was a tattoo place there unless somebody told you to come here and get a tattoo. But once you got inside, it did look like, legit, tattoo parlor and everything. And it was really cool because, we brought the idea to Lex Duran, and we asked if he was able to take our logo and do whatever he wanted to do with it. And Lex was super dope with it, man. He had the light board. He pulled out a table and sat in the middle of this like warehouse, and he started drawing the logo. And me and my cousin were super geeked because we were watching like Lex develop this curvy, super eccentric logo of the Kayatick style. And we're capturing it, and it looked like like pretty amazing. In the meantime, there's people in the background like getting back tattoos and chest tattoos, face tattoos, whatever it was. There's people coming in and out, and it took Lex quite a bit of time, not to necessarily come up with the design, but he did it a sketch on 3 different pieces of paper. And he drew out everything. He kind of got the sketch going, and then about 2 or 3 hours later, he came with a long piece of paper, and he traced and redid the whole design on the long piece of paper. And it was interesting because we were watching, like a true artist, said sketch out our design. This is the second time that we've seen an artist kind of put their take on it, and we're getting ideas as far as, kind of how to grow the business as far as the t-shirt line, the t-shirts, the Venice tee to start off with. And now we're doing the jersey and Pomona, and we're looking and thinking like we can kind of make this our thing as far as fashion goes, which was super sick as well. So Lex, like I said, he drew everything. It took a few hours. We were in the tattoo parlor. My feet were like mad hurting because it was like 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours later when he got done. And me and my cousin were so excited that we took it like straight to like FedEx Kinko's to get it scanned. Like, so we left Lex's tattoo parlor, dapped him up, of course, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate you. And got in the car and immediately went to like FedEx Kinko's to have them scan it to a disc so we didn't mess up, crinkle it, or mess up anything in that situation. And the interesting thing, if you would think I would learn from the Venice t-shirt about the colors and the expensive and how much it costs, but I wanted the jersey to be embroidered and stitched. And there was, I think, like a 2,200 count stitch or something that the guy showed me back in New Jersey or something. And he did, he could have did a little cheaper, but I wanted the stitched to look super sick. And I was playing softball at the time, so a lot of my softball teammates bought jerseys so we could look uniform. Kind of let me host, or not host, but sponsor the team. And then we had a few other people that bought the jerseys outside just the softball team. But like I said, the stitching on it was super intense and super detailed. And then the lettering and patterning came out super sick as well. The fabric wasn't quite what I wanted. But like I said, in learning, you kind of know to look a little bit more, I guess, in that aspect. I do plan on doing another jersey. It might go back to Lex Duran as well to see if he can do the away jersey and see if we can get the right look, the right feel, and see if we can kind of move that along. I thought this project was super sick because it helped create our whole fashion line. Like, from then on, we knew for a fact that we were going to video every design and put them up on YouTube. And this design was incredible. Like I said, it's still one of my favorite videos. And about this time with Lex and his design is when we started kind of thinking about what we were going to do with the video and the music aspect of it. And that started building a whole nother project inside the actual projects we were doing, because after we watched Lex draw the Kayatick jersey logo, we knew that we were going to need some music to help this video kind of shine, just like the Kayatick Venice wall. And then I started thinking that we might end up having 10 shirts. And that in itself could be another project, because that's 10 different songs that we need to highlight each shirt. And that's kind of the seed that started the Wrath of Khan's CD. Was at the Lex Duran video shoot, watching him design this. We started putting together a whole album off of the t-shirt line, which I don't know has been done before, and I don't know if people got the concept of it, but this t-shirt that we did in Pomona was, like I said, and we did in Venice. Actually, every t-shirt we did, I think there's 10 songs, there's 10 t-shirts. So it's kind of like a mixtape of t-shirt design to an album. And that was the beginning of that.
So we I started with it was the split sign and LP, which I didn't really know how to write. I didn't know how to put tracks together. I didn't know how to make beats or anything. But back in the days, I had my own apartment, and I would sacrifice the lights for studio time, maybe in hope that something I write might turn the lights back on. You never know. Sometimes I skip paying the rent. But I want to put the album together. I really love hip hop. It's kind of irresponsible. Wasn't really pushing no drugs or anything like that. Was straight laced, trying to get a job, working, bus boys and shit like that, stacking my chips, getting recycle cans, doing whatever we had to do on the gritty grind to get the studio time cracking. And so I started writing the split sign. Didn't really have a writing process. I would just write rhymes and piece stuff together and make it a song. And it was okay, but it wasn't my favorite album, so I don't really talk about it that much. But it gave me a lot of insight on how to put stuff together. Like I said, as far as a full album, putting the skits together. The theory behind the split sign is I'm a Gemini, so there was two of me. I thought I almost executed that well as far as a production standpoint, but as far as it didn't really come out how I wanted it. So I scrapped that one. I put that in the vault. It was really in a safe in the vault. The only copy, and the 30 copies I pressed, if you guys have them, hit me up. I'll buy them back from you. You know what I'm saying? But we moved on and we started recording. It was the birth of a legacy. And it's kind of funny because when I originally started trying to record this album, I was calling studios everywhere. And this is before studios were, kind of a dime a dozen. And you had home studios and everything like that. But you would call, and if you say, I'm trying to book some studio time, and they would ask you what type of music it is, and I'd be like, yeah, it's hip hop. And if they didn't hang up on you, or then they give you the price, and and the time it'd be like $200 an hour. So sometimes you find somebody with a home studio, and they would give it to you for like 30, 40, $50. I think I was paying $50 an hour at the time. And you would go in there, and you record, in a bedroom or in a closet or whatever. Sound came out still good. Some people had some quality sounds. Sometimes they come out a little muffled. You wouldn't go back or whatever. But it'll, but we started recording this "Birth of a Legacy" with the guy that showed me how to kind of put tracks together. And for my first album, The Split Sign, and me and my cousin decided to book a real studio and go ahead and record this album for a weekend, a couple weekends or whatever. And it came out, really, really good. I had to give shout out to my cousin G13 because, when I was watching him, I remember the first time he came to the crib, we was getting ready to record like a 5-song demo, which, you did demos back in the day. So we had 5 songs, and I remember we were going over bars, and he was going over his bars, and I remember looking at my bars, and I was like, damn, my shit is garbage. So he helped me step my game up for that Birth of a Legacy. I went back and rewrote a bunch of shit and got, in a good zone. We got in a good vibe. And then we recorded the first 5 songs. And I'm kind of a weirdo that way because I like to keep projects going. So I was like, well, let's just do a whole album. And we started doing the whole album. And then after that, we dropped that. And G13 kind of went in trans mode. And I remember one day he's like, I'm recording my solo album. And he went in there and did 6, 7 breaths, and the whole album was done. It was like a day and a half or something, 2 days. He just went there and just breathed on the mic 2, 3 days in a row and just dropped 13, 14 tracks, and it was high. I was like, oh, okay. So had the Under the Underground. That was our other album. Well, I was on it, but it's G13's album, and I still consider it our album. I think it's one of the top in the catalog. He's got one of the songs, LACA, and I remember he went in on that track, and me and Detox was watching him just go, and I thought he was going to do a verse and drop out and then do another verse and then, come back and do the hook and stuff, but he just blazed the whole track and fucking hook, verse, hook, whatever, one breath, and then he got done. He's like, well, I didn't really like it. I'm going to cut that shit. Me and Detox looked at each other like, you out of your fucking mind? Like, no, that shit is done. He doubled it. It was fucking fire. But that was the next process. We got a little, kind of got a little savvy in there. You know what I'm saying? He got in the mics and got savvy. We kind of got some, realized it's about style and cadence and, getting the right tempo and the right flow on the beat. Really wasn't about just making rap songs. It was about filling the track and, okay, this beat's making me do this and say the rhymes like that. And, you kind of get in this groove. And my cousin, he'll let me know straight up, that shit wasn't working or, keep doing it until you like it. You know what I'm saying? I'm real particular because I never like anything I spit. It's, I don't know, it's a weirdo thing in me, but I never like any of that shit. But I get in the booth and we spit, and the collab has always been great. I always like recording my cousin because we got like a 20-year history of recording together, so we really get a good vibe together. I remember we went to Atlanta, and this lady was like, oh, you giving us a CD? She's like, you guys are a group, so, what I got to worry about you guys breaking up in 3 or 4 years once I get into your style or whatever? And it was like, nah, man, we fam, we've been recording for 20 plus years, you ain't got to worry about none of that or whatever. So, I think it's cool that we get a chance to record together for this long and document together. Very rarely 2 people get the chance to record and get a chance to go ahead and make this, music and collab together. And I always got to hold him back sometimes. Sometimes he be dropping some rhymes like, yo, man, what the fuck? You can't be putting me on that shit. And then sometimes I tell him go ham. I was like, whatever, put me to G13 lyrics. He always knows that's like the USDA stamp of approval. Like if I give you a G13 lyric, it's probably going to be the most goriest, grimiest, sickest rhyme you ever heard because I just took the veil off the beast and let him do his thing. Anyway, but we record, with this last one, this birth, that's not the one. This last one, the Curse of the Bars, this one was fun. We have our own studio, and we was able to really get in and get a good vibe, get some tracks that we don't got to worry about, sometimes we get tracks we got to worry about clearing samples, and sometimes that's not really easy on the independent circuit and all, but this one's, ready to go, and we got a chance to really get in, write some rhymes, and it's funny because my cousin would drop something and then I go in the booth and drop something, and then we go back and listen to it, and he listens to it all the time. It's funny because he'll ride around in his car and listen to it all the time, but I have a habit of not listening to tracks until the whole project's completely done, so we record it and I just put them away unless we got to do some retakes on them, but I just record them and put them away. And then once I record them, I put them away. The song, once we do the full album, then we find the order, and then I'll just listen to it over and over and over and over and vibe out to it. And it's pretty much my finished project. I go back, I listen to the finished one, and find out the order, change shit around. You know what I mean? Find out if we're gonna put some interludes, some skits in. Find out the flow. Sometimes we cut songs. It's like, nah, this didn't fit. I remember our first album, we cut like 5-6 songs I thought would definitely make it. Call that the Lost Tapes. We never talk about that album either. But yeah, sometimes we'll cut it and then we'll release, and I'll just listen to it for like 5 months straight and just zone out to it, and then we put the project out.